It's time to hit the starter button on another edition of NZV8 TV. And in today's trivia question, two V8 Kiwi racing legends, one name, Jim and Jason Richards. What's the family connection between them? This is NZV8 TV. Brought to you by Smits Group, suppliers of leading automotive brands, Newlon, Maguire's, House of Colour, Spice Hacker, and a whole lot of other stuff to keep your V8 shiny, cool and fast. Not quite standard? Well, neither are NAC Insurance. They understand. NAC.co.nz. In today's show, classic V8 racing cars, driven by classic V8 racing drivers. Last week we learned that Torana means to fly, and this one sure does. Our feature car, a 1967 Pontiac Firebird Convertible. Skids, really big skids. Powercruise is coming to New Zealand, and we'll show you what it's all about and why you need to be there. Over the last 15 years, the Dunlop Targa Rally has grown to become one of the most well-supported tarmac rally events in New Zealand, and in fact probably in the Southern Hemisphere. And it includes a bevy of amazing V8 powered machinery. Cars like this, Paul Manuel's wild supercharged VE Commodore SS. And as you're watching this, Paul and myself, driving a V8 powered Maserati, are lining up on the start line for this year's Targa event, and we look forward to bringing you more of that action in a future show. You should have already worked out from our recent coverage of the Aussie Muscle Car Masters that we love Group C cars, and no car says Group C more than the A9X Torana.
It's a genuine Group C car which raced in the Group C days. The car actually did Bathurst in 1978 and 1979. It was driven by Bob Forbes and Kevin Bartlett in 78, and Johnny Holland and John Skelton in 79. So it's it's the real deal. Yeah, well the 78 livery just looks that little bit better than the 79 livery. The car actually finished 10th at Bathurst in 78, where it did a DNF in 79. So I also picked the best. Yeah. It's one of the genuine GMPA shells. GMH built about 34 of them for racing back in those days of the A9Xs. The old bangers, we have to run what they did in the day, and things like standard manifolds, standard blocks, standard heads, that sort of thing. Mechanical fuel pump, about 400 horse, and that's pretty well about max you get out of it. Everyone loves the old muscle cars rather than the new supercars. I just like the old Holdens, the old V8 sort of pushrod engines, and I've always been a Holden boy in my life, and mate, I just love them. So go the Toranas.
Yes, go the Toranas. And while you're at it, bring back Group C. Smits Group has car care products for you. The Ultimate Maguire's Pack and the Newlon Extreme Performance Range. To win these great products, just go to v8.co.nz and hit win stuff. This week our Maguire's feature car is a rare 1967 Pontiac Firebird.
Big block rag top, they're only made about 3,060. That's reasonably standard. There are only two Ram Air convertible big blocks made in 1967. Part of the big block option was to have the two Ram Air noses in the bonnet. The ones with Ram Air, they weren't actually closed over like you see the ones there. Off the factory they came out with 320 odd horsepower. With the body shape it's virtually just the same as the Generation 1 Camaros. The only difference is the actual nose and the bonnet. Otherwise it's just virtually exactly the same. It comes with all the Dulux interior, and it sort of comes through with all of the big options. All of the interior, the carpet has never been replaced, so it's all factory, all standard. At least with these ones here, you've got the same type of horsepower as the Corvette, plus you've got a back seat, rather than only Corvettes. They're still cool, but these are better, I reckon, anyway.
Oh yeah, we're all about the back seat, Warren. And I guess when you put the roof down, you can get some extra leg room. In the current issue of NZV8 magazine, subscribe to NZV8 and be in to win a Dynamat insulation package worth $1,900. Just call the number on the screen or go to v8.co.nz and click on shopping. Powercruise is coming to New Zealand, and so is this crazy green turbocharged big block HQ. And this 1800 horsepower Street Assassin is the cover car of the latest issue of NZV8. Also featuring a beautiful rear Pontiac GTO Judge, a rather modern take on the original Mach 1 Mustang, and a shiny black supercharged 81 Z28 Camaro. You know how when you sit round thinking to yourself, if I was a V8 supercar legend with a long career and championship wins and multiple Bathurst wins to my name, but I'd had enough of the cut and thrust and the politics, I'll leave that to the young guys? Well, we think that all the time, and we decided to look for the answer. And guess what? John Bow told us.
Well, I was going to try and think of a good word to describe the V8 supercar thing. It's sort of like a war. So when you retire from that and you get into these sort of cars, you become a bit of a yesterday's hero. So it's good. I love it. They're fantastic cars, and just to be involved in it is awesome. Well, it's a Camaro. It's the Bianchi Touring Car Masters, it's called. The rules are pretty stable. They allow engine modifications. The cars have probably got about 600 horsepower, but they haven't got 700 or 800 horsepower. The engines have got to be as they were in the period in terms of cylinder heads and things like that. So you can't have really late model NASCAR type stuff in them. So that keeps the cost down, and they got a 4-speed box still got live axles and leaf springs and all that sort of horrible stuff, you know. They're allowed to have better brakes, but they're quite a good old jigger, but without being too perfect. What I love about it is there's no data acquisition, no engineers involved. You just get out of the car, and if it's under steering, you might make a little adjustment. The rest of the time you stand around and talk to everybody and drink coffee, so it suits me. In the last, say, 10 years of my professional racing life, I used to train like an Olympian, so I'm not too sorry to be not doing that again either. I've had some good races this year with Gavin Bullis and Jimmy Richards and Brad Tilley and Drew Margette, and you know, they're good old boys, and they love their racing. They're good drivers. They're not stupid. It's just good fun. The cars are a bit more precious than a V8 supercar, so you don't want to try and scour around the wrecking yards of the world trying to find panels, but we race pretty hard. I spent most of my life as a forward person in a racing sense, I guess. So I've been racing this Camaro for 18 months. It's been pretty good to me. I've won some races and set a few pole positions, so maybe I'm turned, mate. Maybe I'm turning. Jason Richards moved across the road from me, so you know, if ever I'd lost any sort of enthusiasm for motorsport, he comes over and talks to me about it, so he gets me all revved up again.